watch me now. Watch me now.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's go.
Hello and welcome back to Big Business Energy. My guest today is a model, an actress, a voiceover artist, a economic analysis. Did I even say that right?
Yeah.
The list goes on, but please welcome Mirka.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. What an
Of
honor to be here.
course. And I'm really excited today because I feel a lot of people are going to get an insight into an industry that I feel, unless you're in it or you work with it, being whether it's like a photographer, whatever it may be, a lot of people don't necessarily know about it. And there's this, I guess, overarching stigma that sort of aligns with it. But it's also changed a lot in recent years and things as well. So
Definitely.
I'm very excited. But I like to kick this off. You're going for a night out on the Gold Coast with all the girls, and you all hop in an Uber, and you get chatting to the Uber driver, and he's like, "Hey, like, what do you do? What do you say?"
My answer changes daily.
Yep.
It depends on who I'm talking to. Depends on what mood I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm an actress. Sometimes I'm like, I'm an economic analyst.
Yep.
I'm a student. I don't know.
Yeah. Barbie queen. Like.
It's Barbie princess.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, that changes daily because I do so many different little things. I wouldn't put myself in a box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smart way to do it. And it's also, so for someone who wants to get into the modeling industry and things like that as well, let's even take it back first. Like, how did you get into the modeling industry? Where did it all begin?
Oh my goodness. So, I grew up in a really small town in South Africa, in rural South Africa.
Yeah.
And little Mirka, that was,
Little Mirka.
was always dreaming about becoming a model or acting on the big screen. And it seemed so far out of reach at that point.
Yeah.
Because there was just no industry where I was. But it's always stayed a dream for me. I did school plays. I did like a local little pageant. I think we had 20 people competing in it.
Yeah.
Which I actually won at 10.
Hey. You're
one of
not
my
to brag.
Yeah, one of my big accomplishments in life. No, I'm joking. Yeah, and it's always been a dream for me. I actually, when I kind of won that, I won a little photo shoot.
Yeah.
My
amazing.
first photo shoot at age 10. And I just loved it. And I always stayed one of the dreams.
Yeah. Just born to be in front of a camera, hey?
Yeah, always. One of my earliest photos, I'm 5 years old, dressed with like little glasses and blue eyeshadow, standing like this for a photo. And I think it's just always been my personality.
Yeah, the sass was immediately there.
I was born with the sass.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually not sassy, I promise.
It's true. She's actually not. You're actually a lot more humble than I feel like you give credit to. Yeah.
Thanks.
I meant that as a compliment. Yes.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
But so.
Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah.
And then I went to. I think I went off track there, but then I went to go study acting for a year after high school in Cape Town.
Oh really? Yeah. Cool.
Yes, and the acting agency I signed for that year also had a modeling division.
Yeah.
And went to a few castings, did a few auditions, and yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then when I got here, just submitted my my already little limited portfolio to a few agencies, did a bit more TFP shoots to build up my my portfolio, and it just
Trickled
kind of
Amazing. And so how old were you when you moved to Australia?
I was 20.
And what was the reason for moving here?
I moved here with my whole family, and I do already have some family here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also one of the big motivators.
Yeah.
For us to be with some more family, and also safety. And I wanted to study here, and there's a little bit more opportunities over here. Absolutely love it in Australia.
And so in terms of that opportunity factor, how have you found I guess that modeling and the acting sort of side in Australia and how it's sort of taken off?
There is so much opportunities here.
Yeah.
It is incredible. I feel like opportunities I didn't even have in Cape Town over there.
Yeah.
A lot more diversity in the industry here as well. I was very limited back in Cape Town. I couldn't, like, height was still a big issue over there.
Yeah, right.
They don't really have, or maybe they do now. I don't know. It's like 5 years ago. They don't really have platforms like Star Now, The Right Fit, stuff like where you can hustle for yourself.
Yeah.
You had to be with an agency.
Yeah, okay.
And most agencies were like, you have to be this tall, you have to fit into this box.
Wow.
Where
I didn't
over
realize
here,
it was that specific. Wow, that's crazy. Because I've obviously heard of like the stigma that sort of was traditionally known as like you sort of have to be this tall, skinny sort of thing. And like as you've seen now and as you've probably experienced, like a lot of that has sort of gone to the wayside, and it doesn't matter. You can be as diverse as you want and whoever you want. Which is, I think, amazing.
It is so incredible.
Yeah, 100%.
So good to see. Yeah.
And so, how has your now experience been like shifting more into that? Like you said, you know, because you're not the tallest gal. Like, how have you found like getting those roles and things like that?
So I wouldn't say it's an issue for me anymore.
Amazing.
It really hasn't been. So most of my work I get through applying for it, either if it's on like Facebook groups or connections I know from Instagram, previous jobs, brands I connected with or worked with, platforms like I've mentioned, like Starting Out, Redfoot, whatever it is. And they don't care.
Yeah.
They do not care. They generally do not care.
Awesome.
I think in the last 2 years, the only time I've been confronted with a height limit was a month or so ago, where it was for a fashion show. So I have to also say this, that there is different divisions in modelling where height definitely is an issue still, like runway and stuff like that. What I do is more like lifestyle modelling.
Yeah. And so just talk us through like a little bit about it for people. Like, what are the different divisions? What are sort of, I guess, the different opportunities they have in the space?
Yeah. So there's like runway.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you have to be tall, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do that.
Generally, they're taller.
Generally, they are taller.
Yeah.
And then there's photo shoots where there is the editorial side, which sometimes they want a taller look. But then I do a little bit more of lifestyle modeling, where you would model for products like self-tanner and jewelry and like random stuff. Like I shoot for the randomest things ever. Bags and all that you can imagine you need photos with models for
100%.
activewear, and they don't care for. That is a more diverse sector, I reckon.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's how I perceive it.
And so what has been like, I guess, just give people a little bit of an insight into like behind the scenes of like sort of what modeling involves, what like a typical day involves, you know, the expectations that they can sort of expect in the industry. Just tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay. You can't, unless you're in that top 5%, whatever.
Of course,
you can't just be photo shoots. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do forever. That is probably not realistic.
100%, yeah.
You're going to have side hustles and other things. And I'm like in the modeling industry, in the acting industry, like be a UGC creator, do marketing. There is such a league of things you can do to monetize that industry. Do acting as well, do commercials, do maybe get something more permanent where you work on a weekly basis doing fitting models for brands, or you just get as much like diversity in your income stream as possible.
Smart. I think it's a smart way to do it, and it sort of leads me into the next question is, like you said, you've been established now, you've worked with some incredible brands. Like, what would be some of your advice you'd give to someone looking to get into the modeling industry? I say modeling industry, I sort of mean like all of it, you know what I mean? Like,
just go for it. Don't overthink it. Don't let your perfectionism limit you. Just go for it. Do it. Do a TFP shoot. Build up your portfolio. Collab with different people. Get out there. Apply for as much jobs as you can. Don't get disheartened if you probably don't get the first 50 or 100 things you applied for.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. It is a long game. It is
100%.
a long game, and you
I think we can both relate that, like, you're definitely going to have those rejections in those times. And I think it's really important to, like you said, not get disheartened by that and just sort of keep that momentum and keep that positive attitude, because like you said, it is a numbers game, and you mightn't have 99, but on that 100th time, it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be worth it. So
yeah. And then when that 100th time happen, it's going to be easier the next time.
Exactly.
And when that time happens, it's going to be easier and easier. But to get there, it's hard. It takes time. And I know some absolutely gorgeous, stunning woman that still struggles. It doesn't have it doesn't have to do with what you have or how you look. It's probably like your connections or
I was about to say
your
that.
portfolio.
Like, how much does like your relationships and your networking play into it? Like, is it very much like
massive?
Yeah.
You cannot be, sorry, my language. You can't be a bitch and expect to be like successful unless you are absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And if you're a bitch to like your people you work with, your photographers, you're not going to book again. It is all about it.
Pretty standard across the board, right? Is like, just don't be a bitch, don't be a dickhead. Like, you know,
be professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Be someone people want to work with. Yeah.
Amazing. Is there any other like little tips and advice you would like to give?
Don't be too hard on yourself. It's a hard industry, and the industry is going to be very hard on you. Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah. Is that speaking from experience?
That is 100% speaking from experience.
Yeah. And so what made you, like, what puts that, I guess, pressure and perception on yourself? Like, what do you think that is? Like, I guess we're generally our own harshest critic.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like, what do you think it is? Is that thing of like, oh, I could have done better there, whatever it may be. Like, what is it? It's
also, for me personally, it was definitely a comparison things. Looking at Instagram, looking at the other models I know, booking jobs, working. And you're like, damn, am I not pretty enough? Do people not like me enough? Why am I not getting booked? Why am I not working so much on that off months? And sometimes it doesn't have to do with that. It generally, sometimes you're not the look they're going for. Doesn't mean you're like less prettier or less enough. It's just mean they are just looking for something different, and it's something you have to make peace with in yourself. It doesn't mean you're not enough. It doesn't mean like there's something wrong with you. It just means that sometimes they're looking for something else. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I've worked with a fair few models and a lot of like I guess people in the fitness space as well. And I know a big thing that they or from my personal experience that people have said to me is like the body dysmorphia. Is there any do you get any of that within the industry? Like,
oh my goodness. Younger me, yes.
Yeah.
It was a big struggle. It was a massive struggle for a very long time.
Crazy.
Where you would just be like, I'm not skinny enough. I don't have this. I don't have that. Like if I was 5 kilograms skinnier, I would have booked more jobs. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah. No.
It's about your confidence. It's about the way you present yourself, and
definitely
just again cut yourself some slack. And I can't really speak on this because it is such an up and down. I am not a psychologist, but you have to learn to love yourself for exactly who you are.
It's hard
because otherwise you're gonna get chewed up and spit out. Yeah.
I think that's great. And so I know you said like, and don't take this as psychology advice or anything, but is there any like anything that you think could help people who potentially are sort of going through that to sort of reassure them? But this is what I mean. I feel like we've all been there. We've all been there. We all go through it. I feel like especially people who are more in front of the camera and more prone to the industry than others, like what has been some of the things that and I know it's fucking hard. Like,
it's such a mind game because like, again, I was training so incredibly hard for when I was going on the reality TV show.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
I did boxing in the morning, and then I would go for a run, and then I did a weight session, and I watched everything I ate. That was the most insecure about my body I've ever been. I've probably been in the best shape, but do you know how much I like absolutely hated myself?
Yeah.
Like, I was constantly comparing, I was constantly checking, I was constantly like weighing and measuring, and I feel so much better now not doing those things. So
Yeah.
there is not a one size fits all type of approach you can take to. You just have to figure out what makes you feel okay.
Yeah.
The number one tip, I think, would be stop comparing.
Yeah.
You are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and just as you are, be healthy and stop overthinking it. Stop overthinking it. You are gorgeous. Stop it.
100%. So what would then be some of, I guess, the highlights? Like, what have been some of the best shoots or whatever you've done and been like, oh my God, this is like amazing. I can't believe this.
How is this my life? Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely love when we do on location shoots and you get to go to these incredible houses. And when I say incredible, I mean like multi-million-dollar houses. That's just it has everything.
Yeah.
I love it. I just love walking in there and just pretending.
Yeah. You're like, this is
made it.
mine.
Yes.
And just in your element.
That's my favorite. I also, and I haven't done this much because I am pretty on the shorter end, but the times I have done runway, it's a very electrifying feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also like, again, like you said, when you don't get to do it that often, it's like, oh, this is exciting. This is new. Like,
super stressful as well. It's like something's wrong. If something happens,
it's on you.
Can't change it. Yeah.
So what do you think? Has there been like anything embarrassing or bad that you've experienced? Like any embarrassing shoots or something?
Embarrassing shoots. I'm probably going to talk on like bad experiences. I do embarrassing shoots on every freaking embarrassing stuff on every freaking shoot.
Yeah.
It's just
like
who I am. I don't know. I say things I don't mean, and
yeah, but like
I'm just
we all do that.
Yeah. Bad. When I got into the industry, when I just started booking things, like getting paid for it.
Yeah.
That's a very vulnerable stage, like in a young person model's career, because you're like, oh my goodness, I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
What the heck? This is so cool. And there has been people that like exploited that.
Really?
So when I just got into it, like literally I think a few months of starting to book paid things, I started working with this photographer that, such a long story, but basically made me sign a contract to be his exclusive ambassador. So for his company, I would be at most shoots, not at like big shoots, and then he would make like a promo video of me like talking and like explaining what's happening and kind of being like a presenter. Yeah. But then it got to a point where he became too personal. Right. And it was weird. It got to a point where I had to like cut all contact and block and just because, like it was so weird. I was so lucky, but I had a friend at one of the shoots coming with me because it got to a point where I was uncomfortable. Yeah. And I didn't want to say, I'm not working with you anymore, because this was one of my first paid things. For sure, like, I'm like, I'm getting the money. Like, okay, let me feel safe and bring a friend. Yeah. And then it just got weird. Like he wanted like to touch my hand, and I was like, no, this is not it. And I had to. And through experiences like that, you learn your boundaries. You learn to handle creepy people. Yeah. When stuff's off. Yes. Yeah. So when you're new and starting out on this, be safe. Please take friends with. Massive red flag. If a photographer says you can't take a friend with, if you're doing a TFP, don't do it. Don't go. I promise you, it's creepy. It's dodgy. Don't do it.
There you go. Tip of the day.
Tip of the day. Don't get human trafficked.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause-
don't even joke about that.
I'm not joking. Please, if the photographer says you can't take a friend with, it's dodgy.
Yeah. Chances
That
are
was the
you'll be in a
day.
shipping container by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, no, not really.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
You get some creepy people.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so moving on from that topic.
Went too dark too fast.
Yeah. I guess. Okay, so from that, if we flip it on the other spectrum,
Yeah.
what would be some of your advice for people who then deal with photographers, deal with models and actors and everything? Like, is there advice for us?
Just be good communicators.
Mm.
Sometimes we can't see what we're doing behind the lens.
Yeah.
Just give direction. Be really clear with communicating. Maybe like, unless it's a super experienced model, she's probably gonna, and even if it's a super experienced model, she's gonna need like direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Be good at direction. Be
Yeah.
good at learn that skill of communicating. And also, I've had this at like bigger shoots. Not a lot. Like it's happened like once or twice.
Yeah.
Where they kind of treat you like an object. Like you are kind of just a mannequin.
Yeah, right.
What is the talent doesn't do this? And it's like, I am standing right here. Why are you talking about me in the third person?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, my name
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, and they would just refer to you as the talent. And I'm like, don't do that. I'm
Yeah.
a human.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super weird.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Wow, okay. I've never heard of that, but yeah, that's crazy. But and at the end of the day, like you said, people do business with people. Like it's so important. I feel like you said to just make everyone feel comfortable and be able to relate to that person as opposed to calling them talent. Like, you know, in third person.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird. Like, and so from there, I guess, what is next for Mirka? Like,
What's next?
what would be, I guess, like, what's your dream shoot?
I want to travel with modeling a bit more.
Okay.
I've been shooting a lot in Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sunny Coast.
Yeah.
I want to travel a bit more. I want to book shoots in Sydney, Melbourne.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you could like dream up your like ultimate, I guess, shoot, like what would it be? Would it be, I don't know, would it be a Bali beach shoot? Would it be a studio boss bitch vibe? Like what would be like the ultimate, I
What
guess?
would be the ultimate?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be like a beach, like a Bali beach shoot, like
Love
at a
that,
villa.
Like that tropical.
Yes, like at a villa, just living the life.
Oh, just speaking my language.
I know. Like combine holiday and work.
Yeah, right.
That's my type of day.
Yeah.
Probably like shooting for either like clothing brand or accessories or something.
Amazing.
Yeah, that'd be the dream.
That's exciting. And so on there, so what's like the next progression? You know, you
Yeah.
sort of progressing through, like what's the next sort of phase?
So the next phase is I am leaning into acting a bit more,
Cool.
auditioning for roles and TVCs a bit more.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's hopefully we book some things. And
You
yeah.
mean when you book something? It
Thank
will
you.
definitely happen.
and yeah, more interstate travel.
That'll be amazing.
Mm.
And so I guess, is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience with and like inform them about, whether it's modeling or anything like that? Like if there's like a lasting thing to leave someone with.
For someone like wanting to get into this industry,
Yeah.
I would say get as many side hustles as you possibly can, without being like burnt out, obviously.
Yep.
Maybe do a degree while you do your modeling things. Maybe get another skill or something you can fall back on, because it isn't always consistent. There's going to come like periods of time where you feel like I can't do this. And it's also, if you become obsessive about it, it can be counterproductive.
Yeah.
So I think what's really helped me is for the last 4 years I've been studying an economics and finance degree.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like it's taken the edge off the rejection for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting rejected, but I have so many other things going on. It's fine.
Yeah.
So then
I
you're
love
not obsessing about the rejection. It's like, okay, I'm doing other things. I have other things going for me. It's fine.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, unless you are super lucky and super talented and you are going to make it your full-time job and that's all you're going to do, I mean, go for it. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But maybe think about things you can do on the side
Yeah.
for that less busy periods.
And do you think social media has played like a big role in, I guess, like pushing the modeling industry forward of today?
It's definitely changed it a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it's cut out the middleman quite a bit. You don't need an agency as much as you did probably 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
You can do it all by yourself now. You can connect with brands, connect with photographers, network as hard as possible. When you create your content, obviously always tag everyone, but connect with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Set up TFP shoots. I mean, that's how I met you.
Yeah.
Like
I
on
know,
Instagram.
Right? Crazy, hey.
So
Yeah.
utilize it.
Yeah.
Make the most of it.
100%. And so this might be a little bit
Yeah.
controversial, what I'm
Okay.
about to say.
Okay.
But do you find brands will often come to a model because of the look and, like you said, the vibe they bring?
Yeah.
Or often do you find it is kind of associated because they have a
Bigger following.
a bigger following and an online presence?
It depends on the job.
Yeah.
It depends so on the job. So for UGC and stuff where they want you to post,
Yeah, for sure.
they obviously going to go for someone with a bigger platform because it's more viewers for them. It's a better deal for them. More people are going to see them.
Of course.
If you are just going to shoot for them and you are not going to be tagged on Instagram, you are just going to be on their, like, I don't know, website or
Yeah.
wherever they're going to use the photos, they generally don't care.
Yeah.
They care about your portfolio, with who you've worked with before. Yes, sometimes they look at your following, but it has a way less of an impact.
Yes.
I don't have a big following. I don't
I don't
at
have a big
all.
following, no.
And yeah, they don't care.
That's amazing. And other than that, if people are interested in following you or hiring you, whatever it may be,
Hiring me.
Yeah.
I'm not at fire.
Yeah. In terms of like a model and things, like where can they find all of those things?
So my Instagram is Mirka_VD_Spay.
Are you good?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Or click the link below. No.
The link will be down below, so there you go. And now I have to put it, so it's going to happen. But honestly, no, thank you for coming on here. I just wanted to give people a little bit more of an insight into the behind the scenes of it all. So
Thank you so much for having me.
thank you.
So fun.
Boom.
Watch me now. Watch me now.